Ocean said, I am Quantcast, and I'm the manager of our edge systems, which means I manage our high throughput, low latency serving systems. High throughput, we're at about 2.5 to 3 million requests per second that we're serving. That's across our two products, Measure and Advertise. I'm just going to talk about Measure today. That's actually the source of our data, and it's the one that kind of gets out to the internet more so than the Advertise side of things. So Quantcast, I've been there for 3.5 years. We weren't quite at 2.5 to 3 million when I started, so it's been a lot of growth. And with that, all those requests, that's a lot of data that we process. So we'll get into how we do some of that. So as I mentioned, two products, Measure and Advertise. The Measure one, which I'm actually going to be talking about, provides insights into the audience for publishers. So if you're a news website or a blogger or anyone, and you want to find out kind of what are the demographics or traffic levels of your site, that's the thing to use. We then use that data for advertisers, target ads that find the right ad for the right person at the right time, all without collecting anything personally identifiable, which helps me sleep at night. So I mentioned the low latency. I didn't really give context on that before. The Advertise side of things, the partners we deal with give us about 100 milliseconds. And for our publisher side of things, since we're kind of infrastructure and they don't really see what we're doing until we get the results and the insights, we want to also keep that down to about 100 milliseconds, including the network time, so that the users, any user around the world, never really sees us there, and so we only add value to publishers. Okay, so I'm going to go over the product quickly, kind of what it means to serve these pixels, and then how we're using ThousandEyes, and maybe I'll put in some product requests. I love that internet image. And then there's some time for questions. So I mentioned Measure. It's our free tool that allows publishers to understand their audiences. This first view is traffic. That's dead simple. You don't need kind of to process a lot of big data for that. Anyone can do that. Okay, easy. Actually, these sites you can actually get to quantcast.com/top sites and see the top publishers around the world and get data from some of them. This is actually Snopes, which is public. Okay, but more interesting, we can give demographic breakdowns. So this site tends to skew older, skew kind of middle income, college grads. And this is shows us what the skew of the audience is compared to the internet in general. Because we have a view across so many publishers, we actually have a baseline of what's the internet, and then how does this publisher compare to that. Here's what's really neat. This is our audience rate. So we can take effectively any seed data set and be able to extrapolate that out for the publisher. And so this is showing that the affinity of certain cars for this publisher. So the audience on this is almost 10 times more likely to drive compressed natural gas cars than the average person on the internet. Similarly, they were 4.5 times more likely to drive an SUV. Now, if there's a correlation, there's also indexes in there, but I didn't show that. This is just kind of the composition. But where does the data come from that? And that's what I'm going to talk about, because that's the pixel serving. That's where we actually get the data from across the internet that we can then use to build those insights. First, it's called pixel because what publishers do is they'll put a snippet of JavaScript on their page. This is actually the snippet of JavaScript from my blog. Right? It's just copy-paste that, and right there above me it says Quant.js. That loads that JavaScript. The JavaScript runs, fires off an HTTP request. The response from that HTTP request is a one-by-one transparent image that's not attached to the DOM. You can't see it. If you see what I do, I have failed. And this is the example of kind of tracing through from the user point of view of what happens with Quantcast. How did they interact with it? So there's a whole lot of other network requests on that page load, but there's only 2 for Quantcast. It was load the JavaScript, send the pixel, and we can see the timing on the pixel. What's that, 50 milliseconds? I'll count that as good because that's pretty much 2 round trips. Create the TCP connection, send a request, get the response. can't do much better than that unless I get closer to the users. So then it's, how do I get closer to the users? We're currently serving in about 12 different places across the world. We're doing geo-based DNS. So Akamai, they kind of look up and say, oh, the user's close to here, go to this site. For redundancy, we actually follow that up with Anycast. So if that site goes down, the traffic gets redirected, or travels on a different path of the internet to a different site and can be served. So we're trying for 100% uptime so that we never drop any pixels. We actually do some interesting hacks inside of our sites to never drop traffic as well. Oh, and with the Anycast, one of the kind of fun things is we have a bunch of these sites. I'd love to have like 60 of these sites, and they're cheap because I'm not paying for anything expensive. Just put a simple switch, a few machines in there, and then use basically a single BGP default out to a tier 2 ISP that then peers with everyone else. So we get a dirt simple, cheap footprint that we can put anywhere. Yeah. And if a site dies, as I said, we use Anycast, so I don't care. If the site dies, I can go and fix it in my own time. Though lots of capacity. But just serving those pixels isn't actually anything useful. I actually need to collect them, so we aggregate that data at a single site or in a single region, and that single region is there represented by the queue. It's kind of like your Quantcast logo, so I took it. And the red dots are representative of our pixel sites. They're not actually where our pixel sites are, but the point is we aggregate things globally. Anywhere in the world, we're going to aggregate into a single place, such that we have a single data set for the internet that we can provide these insights for our publishers. Oh, and the yellow arrows are the internet. We have these sites that are just on the internet. That's it. There's no backbone, there's no MPLS, there's no VPN. We just do everything across the internet and kind of do our authentication, privacy, all of that stuff at the application level. Why did we pick ThousandEyes when we evaluated third-party monitoring in our last year, and then what we use it for? So the big things we found is that it was actually really easy to go back in time. We could see an alert email, whether it was when it fired or when it cleared, and go back and see it again. It was very easy to use. We could find where the problems were while the event was happening or afterwards. We didn't have to be like, oh wait, I have to go back to the original email to go back to the alert to get the UI. It just kind of worked. And then also the cost transparency side of things. We can know what we're actually going to pay. We can model that out beforehand and adjust our costs. We're not as big as service now, so we're not building our own data centers yet. So I got to be a little conscious of that, and that's super helpful. And an example of the UI, this was, we have a test. This was probably my second tier SLA test, and it failed once in hyperride, and it was the DNS lookup. It wasn't enough to trigger alerts, just how we have them triggered, but it's like, oh, right there, what happened? Oh, DNS there, it could even fire before us. I'm going to take a suspicion that the actual agent was completely gone, but that's not the UI we tested on. So we monitor the end user experience. That's the most important thing. How do we know that our sites are up, that they're actually available to our customers? So I actually left off where our sites are. It doesn't really matter. The point is that we've got our users on this side, a bunch of network hops, and all of our sites that are completely different. The users, and they're pretty much straight lines, right? So if this were San Francisco and that was San Francisco, it's a straight line. Pretty much what it's showing is that we go from where the agent is through the ISP for that agent to typically, what's the internet? One intermediary, then we go to Internet, who's our provider, and then straight into Quantcast. The test we're using for this, which should be unsurprising, is the simple HTTP test. We're running a service over HTTP. That's what we're testing. And what we're actually alerting on for this is, are we actually doing the pixel load fast enough? So for we kind of these two we classify the world into two sections. One is where we do business and where we want to be really fast. So we set a low threshold on the whole page load time, or the whole transaction time. And then kind of the rest of the world where we still want it to work, but we can have a much higher threshold. So we really have two tests. They're pretty much the exact same. The only thing that's different is which agents we choose for them and what the threshold is for the total transaction time. And you'll also see on the, if we look at the other alert, is that instead of things kind of being straight lines, there'll be just as many hops, but there'll be much longer latency between them. This is very low latency between the end user, but there's still a lot of network hops. And then we've also added the standard kind of BGP and path tracing, and kind of nice things that help us debug. So, our strict SLA regions, like kind of unsurprising North America and Europe. And then what we usually go for is if we're seeing like two or three failures in a row, that's something that we actually need to look into versus just being a spurious failure and filling us up with not really useful information or actionable information. Similarly, we've got our lower SLAs, Africa, Russia, South America. We don't have really customers there. We love them, so we make sure everything works, but we have the lower bound. Same failure rates, two or three things fail, then we're going to look into it and decide if it might actually be a problem. Until then, it's kind of not worth us looking into. And then the last one is for monitoring the end user experience. That's kind of the most important thing. But we also want to see what's happening as we aggregate that data. How effective are we able to transfer that data over the internet? And if something's gone wrong with that, which we'll have our own internal monitoring on, what's breaking, where is it, can we do anything about it? Should we be poisoning a upstream provider that we have in a site to force the traffic to a different route? And you can kind of see it's pretty much a tree instead of these straight lines, because we've got, in this graph, are two endpoints, similar number of network hops, but the network hops, especially for our fiber sites, are going through multiple intermediaries between, so it's the agent's ISP, usually one, maybe two intermediaries, then internet than us. But surprisingly, same number of network hops, just much higher latency. For this one, all we need is a network agent. Because we have all of our internal monitoring to say, is the service up? And this is used for debugging when we get our own alerts. We just need the basic network stuff. We don't kind of need all of the transactions or page load stuff on top of that. As I said, this goes over the internet, so there's problems with using the internet versus our own backbone or kind of our own MPLS where we can route traffic. So, the problems with that is that we'll have kind of random failures and need to deal with that at the application levels. But when we deal with that at the application levels, we're much more flexible where we can put our sites. They can be at hardware, they can be in a cloud provider, and it doesn't matter, right? We just need to figure out how to get the end user traffic there. That's different between hardware with Anycast and potentially using load balancers with cloud providers, but it doesn't matter for the rest of the software. We just spin it up somewhere and we're good to go. And so when we do get those customers in Australia, or even worse, Brazil, I don't need to ship machines into Brazil. Anyone's done that? Good on you. Good on you. Yeah, and then we built our kind of internal software to deal with that because we know it's going to implement, so we'll usually at the application level find multiple different paths to get the data that we need to in either direction.
All right, thanks so much, Jim.
Thank you.
Great presentation.